Monsters of the Blacktop. 3 muscle cars that defined raw power. Before traction control and computers, there were monsters made of steel and thunder. These weren't cars, they were beasts that ruled the blacktop with raw, unfiltered power. Today, we're taking you back to the golden age of speed to meet 3 muscle cars that defined pure adrenaline. 1. 1969 Pontiac GTO The Judge. The 1969 Pontiac GTO Judge was loud, rebellious, and unapologetically bold. It was Pontiac's answer to the youth movement, a car built for attitude, not just performance. Under the hood, it packed the legendary Ram Air 3 400 V8, pushing 366 horsepower. If that wasn't enough, buyers could upgrade to the Ram Air 4, turning it into a street-legal drag car. It could sprint to 60 miles per hour in around 6 seconds, which was brutal for the time. The Judge wasn't just fast. It looked the part with wild graphics, a rear spoiler, and its famous carousel red paint. Pontiac marketed it with the slogan, "All rise for the Judge," and it truly ruled the streets. It embodied the late 60s muscle spirit, power, rebellion, and style. Every rev of its engine demanded attention. Every race it entered made headlines. What made it special wasn't just speed, it was personality. It wasn't trying to be elegant, it wanted to be loud, fun, and fearless. The interior was simple but focused on driving. Everything pointed toward performance. It cornered well for a big car, thanks to its balanced suspension setup. The sound of its exhaust was pure American symphony, deep, raw, and addictive. Owners loved how it turned every drive into a performance. But as emission laws tightened, the Judge's reign was short-lived. Still, its legacy endures as one of the most iconic GTOs ever made. Collectors today pay big money to own one, and for good reason. It wasn't just a car, it was a cultural statement on wheels. The GTO Judge was the definition of muscle car charisma, loud, proud, and unforgettable. 2. 1970 Buick GSX Stage 1. The 1970 Buick GSX Stage 1 was one of the most underrated monsters of its era. While many thought of Buick as a gentleman's brand, the GSX shattered that image completely. It came equipped with a 455 cubic inch V8, producing 510 pound-feet of torque, more than almost any car of its time. That torque made it an instant legend at the drag strip. It could go from 0 to 60 miles per hour in around 5.5 seconds, which was supercar territory back then. The GSX was available in bold Saturn yellow or Apollo white, both screaming performance. It had black racing stripes, a hood tachometer, and a rear spoiler that made it stand out instantly. But what made the GSX special wasn't just looks. It was its personality. It combined brute force with refinement, offering a comfortable interior and smooth handling. You could roast tires one moment and cruise in comfort the next. It was a true dual-personality machine. Elegant, yet terrifying when provoked. Buick engineers built the GSX to be both a luxury cruiser and a street weapon. Even the transmission was tuned specifically for torque-heavy launches. It was one of the few cars that could challenge a HEMI and win. Yet, despite its performance, Buick never got the muscle car glory it deserved. Only about 678 GSX units were produced in 1970, making it incredibly rare today. The GSX Stage 1 became the ultimate gentleman's street racer. Its combination of comfort, power, and exclusivity made it legendary. And that monstrous torque figure still makes enthusiasts smile decades later. When you talk about underrated powerhouses, the 1970 Buick GSX Stage 1 tops the list. 3. 1971 Plymouth Hemi Cuda. The 1971 Plymouth Hemi Cuda wasn't just a muscle car, it was a street legend. It came with the legendary 426 HEMI V8, delivering 425 horsepower and nearly 500 pound-feet of torque. This engine was pure Detroit madness, built for one thing: domination. The Cuda's design was aggressive and muscular, with shaker hoods, wide stance, and menacing looks. It screamed performance before the engine even started. On the road, it was a beast, unpredictable, loud, and absolutely thrilling. Drivers loved how it pinned them to the seat every time they floored it. Its quarter-mile times were deep in the 13ths, sometimes faster with tuning. But what truly set it apart was its attitude. It didn't care about refinement or rules. The Hemi Cuda was raw American power in its purest form. Plymouth knew this was the final stand before emissions, and fuel crises changed everything. So they went all in, creating a car that would never be forgotten. Only a handful of Hemi Cudas were built in 1971, making them worth millions today. Its thunderous roar, unique body lines, and unmistakable presence turned it into an instant classic. Every collector dreams of owning one, not just because it's rare, but because it represents the soul of muscle. It was the last true expression of unrestrained automotive power. When people talk about the golden age, they're really talking about cars like this. The 1971 Hemi Cuda is proof that muscle cars weren't just transportation. They were emotion, identity, and rebellion on wheels. These three beasts weren't just cars. They were symbols of freedom, strength, and fearless engineering. They defined what muscle truly meant: torque, thunder, and attitude. In a world full of computers and electric motors, they remind us of simpler times, when raw power ruled. Their engines may be quiet now, but their legacy still shakes the ground. Because legends like these never fade. They just wait for the next green light.